Hey guys, so that was about all we had for the beginning vocabulary that is surrounding typography. So of course we covered kerning, letting, and tracking, what those adjustments mean, and what it looks like when they're used in good practice, and when those things are overlooked, and what kind of results come about when basically when things go horribly wrong working with type. So we covered all those aspects. We also went into a few things that are only going to show up when you're working with paragraphs, like widows and orphans. Remember, avoid them at all costs. We covered all of that. Then we also got into a little bit about the discussion of typefaces versus fonts, how typefaces are basically a collection of all the different fonts that go into said typeface. So all your bolds, italics, things like that, those are all considered fonts within one typeface. And then we also dove into a little bit about the individual Adobe programs that let you make these adjustments to your type. Specifically within the characters and paragraphs panels, that's really where we spent most of our time, but it gave you the understanding and where to find the areas within these tools to make these types of adjustments that we were talking about. And that's really all that we wanted to cover with this section. Again, this was really just getting us prepared for the course ahead. We got a long way to go, and this is really where we start to get into the nitty gritty, the actual strong details within type and the different design choices we can make with it. So, really looking forward to the rest of this video series. Before we start diving into that though, there is going to be a quiz right after this video, just kind of as a real quick recap of all these different things we talked about surrounding vocabulary and typography. So it's going to give you a real quick quiz about some of the different tools, what tools you're going to select to make, let's say, a kerning adjustment, little things like that, as well as, of course, the definition of those terms that we were covering. And it just kind of really, at least for me, quizzes have always helped me just retain and lock in the information that we covered in such a short amount of time. Ideally, you would practically buy a book about kerning, and just research what it actually does, the psychology of the viewer, little things like that. But in the sake of time, we're kind of condensing all of this down. So it's just going to be really helpful for you going forward to just make sure that you are absorbing and you are locking in all this info.